Yeah, hey, let's do it. This is Dragonfly Create video number 1. In the previous video we only looked into some of the installation aspects. We're not finished there, we still need to do a little bit more, but we cross that bridge when we get there. Today we start with the first components, and yeah, I'm as fresh as you. So let's just do it together and let's jump in. Okay, I prepared a very simple, some surfaces representing some possible streetscape. This is completely fictional. It's nothing taken from any real plan, but I tried to have real measurements with the streetscapes, and then we have some areas for possible building footprints. That's where we start from. Don't ask me to share this model because it's really simple. You could just go along with very simple boxes or very simple surfaces. It doesn't matter for this video. It's really just to have a bit something more fun to work, fun to look at. Okay, we go into Grasshopper, we go to Dragonfly, and here we are, create. We will look very little into the other things for now. We only use one tool here. No, actually we're using a few tools here in the visualizing tab just to verify what we're producing. So, but yeah, let's start here. As you can see here, at the beginning, again, like in very similar to Honeybee, is that we have these deconstruct objects at the beginning and then the Dragonfly model. Well, we actually should start here. The second portion, this bit here, or let's say this first box here, that's gonna be today's task, and a little bit the other things. Anyway, let's start from Dragonfly building from footprint. Create Dragonfly buildings from footprint geometry. For that, grab that tool and bring it into the canvas. Okay, here it says footprint geometry, so we need some footprint. And we can just, here it says a list of horizontal Rhino surfaces to be converted into buildings. Okay, that's what I prepared here. I prepared some surfaces. I might only take a few of them because I want to have different heights and so on. But maybe just take one or two for now so you understand the principle. Okay, getting a surface container. I have these two selected and they are now here. Plug this in here. As in all other Ladybugtools, underscore at the beginning means mandatory input, underscore at the end means optional input, underscore at the beginning and the end means mandatory input, but it has a default value. So you can put something optional, but it has a default value. Also the program, this is also for the program and the construction set, the same as in Honeybee. If you saw that series, it already has some default program and construction set to make it actually work without any input here. But we need to have a floor to floor height, and that can be a list. You either put the list here in the multiple data items, but I prefer to use a panel. And if I now place here, let's say ground level is 3 meters, a second floor and a third floor, 2.7. If I plug this in here, it becomes red. We need to do one more thing. We need to actually double click here, right click here on the panel and choose multi-line data. Then it's understand this as a list of values. And we need a toggle, a Boolean toggle, to run it. And I like this panel here because then I can change the height. And then there's also parameter offset that actually creates a wall thickness. But let's leave that for now. We don't need that for now. I'll just show you very quickly, but in order to run everything faster and smoother, we can add this here. Let's say the thickness of the wall is 300 millimeters. By the way, units, please always use meter, especially bigger master plans. It really annoys me when I see plans in millimeter we're talking about, I don't know, streetscapes where every street is then 12,000 millimeter wide. Anyway, just a note on the side. All right, the problem now, we don't see anything. We can't see anything. So that's why we need to have this tool here. This is called Visualize All, or any of these visualizing tool, depending on what we want to visualize. Visualize All, we can run through these more specific in one of the next videos. But today, we probably will use this one. Oh yeah, by the way, forgot something. I should put here, oh yeah, here it is. The bifocals, I put it here. Sorry, I forgot. That always creates a nice, gives like the description of the symbol. Okay, Visualize All. We'll use this, and we probably later will use the attributes, and we get to that later. But let's put this in here, and now we see our buildings. Maybe we can add another one. That's why I like this panel here, because I can change it. Let's see, there's this one typology of buildings. It's crashing. It's crashing. Yeah, it was just crashing. I had to restart. I have to be careful here. It seems like it's a bit buggy, this whole thing. I will not group it, but I have two. I added here another floor, so there's just a bit of a difference. You can see here, these are one floor higher, and the others are only three floors. 4 floors, ground level and the others. So now if we analyze this, we can go into here, attributes, because we're not yet finished with this. Dragonfly color room 2D attributes, can get this here. There's another tool called here, Dragonfly room 2D attributes. So this can choose an attribute here, and this will show us then the different color. So if let's hide this for a moment. We don't need that. So these are my current buildings here, and I could now look into what I need to do is to check if these are, let's see, where is it, is in ground contact, because at the moment we only have some floors, but the program doesn't yet know if they are just a few floors within a bigger, taller tower, or if is this one building. So if I put this in here, attributes, need to put it in here, and then we add here it says, okay, is ground contact false? So none of these floors are actually ground contact. And I could do the same with top exposed, meaning the roof is both doesn't, it's not. Both is false, you know. So we need to do something in addition to make this a proper building. And there is first of all, there's building from stories. That's something different because we already have a building, but there's another tool called here, separate top bottom. And then we can put in here the buildings, and that will take care of that problem. So now if we put this in here, we see in ground contact. Now if I turn this off, and maybe I go into a different, yes, I need to go into shaded viewport to actually see the colors. Sorry for that. But you can see now it actually created these floors. It's also good that you see the floors now. So these are all generated by Dragonfly. And we see that we have here the lower, which the surfaces which are in ground contact, they actually now, the program understands now, okay, these are in contact with the ground level. And I can also check here, top exposed, yes. So these levels are exposed to the top. Pretty cool. I'll bring this back, and maybe I'll only visualize the wireframe. Maybe I don't need to look at that anymore. That's not what I want. I like to see more. By the way, you can always customize your output, your viewport, how it should look like. can, I haven't seen this, is new, but let's get here maybe material. And we can, I think we should, so first of all we can put this in here. I'll remove this again. I'll put the transparency 80%. I'm gonna turn this off, the preview here. That's what I want. That's much better. Is something wrong still? Let's go back to, okay, now we're there. That's what I want. The color is a bit, nah. Diffuse color. Okay, now we're getting there. Okay, so this is one way to build a building. Of course, we don't need to show that the whole time, but it's also nice to see. Top exposed. I'm wondering if I can put here more attributes. Probably. Yes, I can put both. But then there's something wrong with my output here. So just choose this for now, or let's choose ground contact. Maybe that's better. So I could, this is one way to do it. There's one way to build your buildings. There's another tool here, it's called building from stories. And this is a bit more complex, but it will remind you very much of Honeybee. And I will just very quickly go through that as well, and then that's it for today. Oh yeah, by the way, here's the Dragonfly model. So I could now take this here and add my buildings, and then I have a first model. So this is already a working honeybee model, Dragonfly model. You could also add a context if there's any shading around, or objects you don't need to test but they create shading, then you can also put that here. But we will discuss that later. Not now. Let's stay here. That's for now. Okay. We add context later. This is my second typology. I would need to do the same here. Give it a different typology and maybe a different transparency. Let's see how that works. Okay. Transparency seems like it doesn't work proper, but it doesn't matter. So I have now two typologies, 5 stories and one with 4. So now let's look in the other tools here. Dragonfly building from stories. Okay, let's place this here. Maybe I should save that for just to make sure. So here it's all a bit more complicated, just to give more options and to be more specific if needed. And it's here says actually you don't need to anything except the stories. So we need to provide that first. It has a tool here. It's called Dragonfly story. Okay, so we need this. And here it says, okay, you need rooms first. Plug this in here, but it will not do anything. I need first rooms. The other things are not mandatory. So I need 2D rooms first, which is, if I click here again, it says here, Dragonfly room, 2D room. Now we need a geometry. So we could, again, plug this in here, but that now we need a geometry. And again, we only need a surface. We only need surfaces. So for example, I could, if this is my tower, and here we make it a bit more interesting. We could have, let's say we have a tower here. Here's a tower. What is a reasonable size for a tower? Maybe 25. And then maybe it has some core on the side, or another portion here. Don't judge me. This is just really just to explain some stuff. Okay, so again it says here surface is representing floor plates. Again, I need my surfaces here. If I now plug this in here, it's all fine, but I need to have a floor to ceiling height. So we can place here again a list of numbers. It's also possible, or let's keep it more simple for this example, like 3 meter. Okay, and now it's already turned gray. It means it works, but we can't see anything. So if we again take this here and plug this in here, then we should be able to see it. Okay, yes. So we have now 2 boxes. They're overlapping, and it's one room. It's actually 2 rooms. But what we can do now, because they are overlapping, we need to do something with these. So there is a tool called Dragonfly intersect room 2Ds. So that's what we need first. So we plug in the room 2Ds first in here. We need to run that. Oh, sorry. Boolean toggle. Take this. We know they're intersecting, but they're still plugged in here, so we could do this now. It hasn't really changed much, because the only thing what that tool does is to check where it's intersecting. That's all it does. The second step here is to solve the adjacency. Solve the adjacency between a series of Dragonfly room 2Ds. Note that rooms must have matching edge segments in order for them to be discovered as adjacent. The Dragonfly intersect room 2Ds component can be used to ensure adjacent rooms have matching segments. So that's what we need here. And we also need to run that again and then place this here. Remember, this is always like, it doesn't work if you do this, you know, this creates rooms. From these rooms we create the intersection, which also outputs a room. So you cannot use these rooms and these rooms together, because it's the same. Otherwise you end up with 4 rooms in your building where they're completely overlapping. So it's always like we have 2 rooms, we do something with it, they change, then we do something else with it, they change again, and then we have stories. And now we can add a multiplier here, which basically extends our building. So I could say here 100. Let's see, this is like has 15 floors, and I have a tower with 15 floors. Now with this I can do the same as I did before. We need to separate the top and bottom, and we can just use this again here, because now we have a building, and we can place this in here and say, and then we can analyze it if this has worked. For that we just use this tool here again, turn this off for a moment, and you can see only the ground level now is red. It's 2 rooms, and ceiling. Actually gives me the ceiling elevation. I clicked the wrong one, but that's also cool to see that. We'll look at analyzing later a bit more. That's pretty cool. Let's do the same here. But yeah, let's check if we have the top exposed. Yes, we have. And what would be nice is to have this as well. This, so we can. This transparency doesn't really work. I'm not sure about that. It's either on or off. Okay. I see. Yeah. Now, yes. Now we're talking. Okay. Alright, it looks pretty cool. I show you one more thing, and then we're done with this first. So this was our first 2 typologies. We're also building this model already. We actually don't need that really for now. Another way is to build buildings by creating a solid, to using solids. Or if you already have solids, for example, then this is probably the best way to do it. I just make something very extrude surface. Okay, we could use this one here, building from solids. For that we're gonna provide, for example, B-wrap. We can choose this here. We need a floor to floor. There's different ways to actually create these lists. You could say, for example, to save time, you could say 1 at 5. So put this in here and I run that. Then again I need something to show. I better save it for now, because maybe, you know, it's always good to save your work. Go back here. I'm turning this off. Now you can see it created one floor here with 5 meter. Now I could again right click multi-line data. I can add here something as 3 levels with at 3 meter or 2.7 and adds this here. Add 4, no, maybe 5. Oh. Let's add 6. And again, we can add our stuff here. Our visualization. And again, we separate the ground and the top. So this is another way to build. Last but not least, I will show you that you can be even more specific. I will just talk about it because otherwise it takes too long. You can also set here the ground and top manually, especially if you have floor levels separately. So if you have a more detailed model and you use the floors, then you can set individual levels or rooms, 2D rooms here, as ground or top exposed. So how that works is you put in your object, which is a single floor, and then either add a boolean value for true or false for this ground contact or top exposed. And then you add this back to your model or combine it with other floor levels. Yeah, I will not show that now. You can do that as a homework. You can do it as a homework and check it out. Or if you have a specific kind of problem, then you can do that. The same is for this here, this tool. Boundary condition. You can set a specific boundary condition for walls or for floors. This also removes any apertures, for example, windows and so on. It's interesting that in Honeybee it's called apertures and here it's called windows, so it's a bit strange. But yeah, we will look at this a bit in the next level, in the next video. But yeah, this works the same way. You can only always have one story. You use one story, and that you're gonna tell that it's basically in the ground, for example, and then means that there are no windows around. Always good to read here. Adiabatic, a list of booleans denote whether exterior walls of a given orientation should be set to adiabatic. Different adiabatic values will be assigned based on the cardinal direction, starting with north moving clockwise. The Honeybee facade parameters component can be used to order this list correctly for 4 main orientations, and the same for the ground level. So please, if you need to use that, get familiar, use it. Alright, but yeah, I will keep mine a bit more simple for now. It's okay, I don't need to just show you the basics. There's something wrong with the color here. Alright, that's it for the first video. In the next video we look at apertures and shading and context. That video will be called Dragonfly Create video number 2. See you next time.